Welcome back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. This is the SmackDown review show. SmackDown going off the air just a few short hours ago. And well, a lot went down. A lot has happened. So instead of just faffing around, we're going to get straight into it. So SmackDown opened up with the Usos, Roman Reigns, and Sami Zayn. Now, a lot happened at Crown Jewel. If you remember the Crown Jewel, Sami Zayn inadvertently kicked Roman Reigns in the face with the haluva kick, and Jay was first off out to try and make the peace, calm the situation down from Crown Jewel. Sami Zayn, at the end of the day, was like saying was absolutely unintentional, didn't mean to kick you in the face, and actually wanted Roman, instead of Sammy apologizing, he wanted Roman Reigns to apologize. Roman was a bit confused by why Sammy would want, why Sammy wants him to apologize. And Sammy was like, the only reason I'm doing this is for Jey Uso. So you need to apologize to Jey Uso for everything, for what he done before, for the whole issue with the bloodline in the first place. And it was just a really interesting segment to kick off SmackDown. Ultimately, they didn't apologize. Jacob Fatu got on the Titantron and was talking about hailing Solo Sikoa later on in the show. So there's still the bloodline issue. There's still a lot going on in the bloodline. Um, not entirely sure where. Well, actually, we'll find out where it's going later because we're going to having to have Roman Reigns apparently acknowledge Solo Sikoa as the ultimate tribal chief. Well, there we go. Now, before the show, also, we got told that the Grayson Waller effect with the Motor City Machine Guns had in fact been cancelled, much to their chagrin. But instead, the Grayson Waller effect was going to have the Motor City Machine Guns on there. But instead of the show being cancelled, they've got a match against the Motor City Machine Guns tonight. So we're going to see that on SmackDown as well, which is very, very good to see Machine Gun. I think we know where that's going, to be honest with you, but nevertheless, we have to, well, are Austin Theory and Grayson Waller really going to beat the Motor City Machine Guns? It's doubtful. It is doubtful, but nevertheless, we will find out later. Bailey and Candice LeRae, sorry, was first up on SmackDown in women's action. And there was a little bit about this where the referee looks as though where Candice LeRae was maybe feigning a bit of injury. She clutched the knee during the point of this match. Near the end of it, a referee was telling Bailey to stay away, and as Bailey turned around, Candice LeRae tried sneaking a roll up on Bailey, which Bailey reversed into a pin of her own. The match itself was a solid short match. It was a good sign that this mini feud was given a bit of time on SmackDown to breathe. Nothing earth-shattering though, but still a solid encounter for Bailey and Candice LeRae. Now, there is a big announcement coming up a bit later on SmackDown that we will get to. Massive ramifications for the women's division. And, sometimes the WWE just give you what you want, a bit like Batista. Give me what I want. Well, they have done on SmackDown. We'll get into that, and I'll be very happy when we talk about it in a little while. We've got to get there first. Now, Tommaso Ciampa was backstage with Johnny Gargano. Now, they've been talking a little bit, they're not happy with the machine guns being here as well. And Ciampa and Gargano maybe seemingly edging towards a split. We'll get that. We'll get to that in a minute because they do have a tag match in a minute. So we'll get to that first. But Randy Orton storm into the ring right now, and he said he's ending this fucking shit right now. He wants Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens walks out to the ramp. The officials are trying to hold him back. Owens rushes to the ring. They start brawling. They're separated at one point, and then as they're separated, Owens manages to low blow Randy Orton and deliver and drops him with a power driver. Yes, you heard that right. A power driver, a move that's seemingly banned in the WWE or has been banned in the WWE. Kevin Owens hits the power driver. I think with this now, it's if it can be done safely, you can do it kind of thing. But it was great to see. You don't rarely see power drivers, pop up power bombs and stuff like that, but not power drivers. Kevin Owens is left through the crowd as Cody Rhodes and Nick Aldis rush to ringside, and Orton is placed on a stretcher. And I tell you um, what's so good about this is that the power driver has been made into a serious move. Do you know what I mean? Like we have a power driver back in the 80s and 90s was just devastating it, and that's exactly what this was made to be. Um, but they've managed to get the power driver over again as a devastating move, just like it should be. What a brilliant thing to do for the WWE. Again, going back a bit old school, giving us a bit of something that we haven't seen in a while with this. And for Randy Orton to be stretched out after receiving a power driver is crazy. In 2024, it's crazy when you consider of all the stuff that happens in wrestling, all the crazy moves and stuff that get done to an old school. It's like NWA. It's like watching NWA, a power driver. Is a devastating move, and it actually is. So to be fair, it shouldn't be a big surprise that that it puts someone on the stretcher. But in 2024, it certainly is, and it's certainly good to see. I loved the segment. Thought the segment was brilliant. Um, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens are doing some great work, right now. And say right now, they have been for ages, but these two absolutely brilliant at what they do. And this feud. Obviously, Cody's inserted a little bit into this, which is a bit weird. I mean, Cody Rhodes right now. I mean, as Randy Orton got put on the ambulance, Cody Rhodes went with him, and that was it. Cody was done for the show, which was quite, say interesting to a degree. That your world champion isn't doing anything. Mm, I'm not so sure that they couldn't have done something with Cody, but I get it. And ultimately, will Cody look to get a bit of revenge on Kevin Owens for Randy Orton, or will Randy Orton and Kevin Owens? I mean, I think that is going down the last man standing route. I'm sure Kevin and Randy, maybe last man standing between those two seems the best way to go in this situation. But we'll wait and see. But what a great segment on SmackDown! What a great segment on SmackDown. Now DIY. Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano. Gargano was happy that machine guns were here. Tommaso Ciampa was not. They've walked in and got a title shot and won the title, and they're still scrapping. And the interesting thing is, DIY then took on Pretty Deadly in the tag match, and it was basically Tommaso Ciampa kicking the crap out of both members of Pretty Deadly. Gargano wanted a tag. Ciampa didn't want to give it to him. He was throwing him on the outside. He was beating him up over the announce table. And then Ciampa hits the fairy tale ending to pick up the victory. It was a short match at the end of this, and then he storms off. And Gargano follows, trying to talk to him. Ciampa's not listening. But DIY has been a stable year old, team on sort of SmackDown. It's been a year now since they've been anyway. Since being put together, they've been a solid. The crowd don't seem to, they don't get a reaction so much. With the crowd, I'm not sure why they don't seem to get over a lot. When they come out, I always say crickets. And it's not a disrespect to them. It's just the crowd just not into it for whatever reason. However, what I think is clear now is that Gargano and Ciampa are better off when they're trying to kill each other, so to speak, than they are as a team. And that's nothing against that. as tag teams go, they're absolutely fine. But I think from those two's perspective, to get what you need to get to on SmackDown, they need to be going against each other and trying to tear each other apart. That's my opinion on it. We'll see if it happens. It's either going to go two ways. Either they're going to go against each other, or Gargano will turn heel like Ciampa, and there'll be a heel team. Now the Motor City Machine Guns are here. Potentially the Street Profits. We'll talk about the Street Profits in a bit. Actually, Montez Ford has been quite vocal in a few bits and pieces. So where's that leading, if anywhere? We'll find out. But yes, definitely something going on with Gargano and Ciampa DIY. Where will it go? Don't know. It's either going to go two ways, guys, and it's either going to be together or against. And we will see, I gather, in the very near future. Now, another tag match on the show. It's quite tag heavy this week on SmackDown. And there's three tag matches on there, which is unheard of, really. This is the women's tag match now. Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill. It's early in the morning, guys. Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton. Good tag match, this. Bianca and Jade just works so well together. And Jackson Stratton had really, to be honest, they didn't really have a chance on here. But when they had that Candice LeRae was appearing at ringside as well, and she pushed Bianca Belair, pushes Bianca Belair into the mat and stuff like that. It was quite interesting. And Naomi then come down to assist on this. But the only thing I would say, so initially I was thinking that Bianca and Jade were going to win this. When Candice LeRae come out, it changed my mind a little bit. Like it was a little bit of doubt, which was actually good, And then that come out Naomi, then come out to make the save, and then the KOD wins the show. But the interconnecting stories in the women's division right now make everything seem a bit more meaningful, if that makes sense. And it's actually really, really good. And like I said, there's going to be an announcement that we're going to get to in a minute, which is so good for the women's division. It's so brilliant to see it finally happening. You probably know where I'm getting to this when, the fact that I've been advocating for something for quite some time now on the channel. So we'll get there in a minute. But yeah, this match was great. Good tag team match. Yeah, Bianca and Cargill will eventually split up, probably Rumble time going into WrestleMania. I think that's a marquee match that WWE want to put on WrestleMania this year. I'm all for it. Whenever they put it on, it'll be great. But right now, as a team, they're fantastic. They're doing really good things. Obviously, we've still got the Money in the Bank situation to sort out with Tiffany Stratton. When she will cash in, we will see. It's going to have to be, doesn't have to be soon because she's got a whole year to cash that briefcase in. I still think it's going to be on Nia Jax though. So I want to say maybe by the end of the year she'd have cashed it in, if not maybe the first show, maybe the Netflix show, because they're probably all going to be on the Netflix show, right? Come January, what a way to start that off with her cashing in the Women's Money in the Bank on the Netflix show. But we'll see. Anyway, Motor City Machine Guns against A-Town Down Under. For me, this was a standard TV match. Waller and Theory have definitely run their course as a tag team, but I also think the WWE have missed their moment in splitting them up and to a point where I don't think anyone will care when it happens. Yeah, I'm not sure with this. I've said this before, it should have happened when they were teasing it more, Austin Theory turning face. That was where we was all looking at going. We know that Austin Theory really needs a career saver at this point. And I feel as if WWE had missed the boat to really make it a meaningful split when it happened, if that makes sense. Obviously, the Machine Guns picked up the win with the Skull and Bones here. And most of the Machine Guns did look good, but I just thought there was too little to work with these at the moment. But what I will say, though, I will say one thing. Give Motor City Machine Guns their old entrance from TNA. What is that about at the moment? I have no clue what that entrance music is about, but they need to get rid of it. And as soon as possible, please, because it's dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Yeah, it's not good. I mean, I don't know who made that up, if it was Def Rebel or whatever, but they need to change it pretty quickly. Nevertheless, mostly Machine Guns picked up and win as you would expect them to do, really, in this situation. Yeah, and Austin Theory and Grayson Waller lose again. That's pretty much where we're going with that one. Nick backstage, sorry. Ciampa is going crazy because he's found out that the Street Profits are number one contenders for the Tag Team Championship. He is livid with this news. And again, it just heightens the situation more so with him, and whether Gargano will follow suit or not is another thing. Now, speaking of Street Profits, Montez Ford has been quite vocal at the moment. He was talking about, a long way, he's talking about doing things on his own, which again leads you to believe, will they split the Street Profits at some point? Montez, listen, Angelo Dawkins is a great athlete, and he's probably not as WWE don't show you as much as Angelo Dawkins as perhaps they should. They're very high on Montez Ford, and as they should be, to be fair. Montez Ford is he's a star, there's no doubt about it. But you don't sleep on Angelo Dawkins either in this. Dawkins is very, very good as well, but he just doesn't get showcased enough in the profits. But they're talking, Montez Ford's doing a lot of things about going it alone and stuff like that recently, and teasing a split to a degree. I think he then backtracked on some of it and sort of said, we'll do this together, or whatever happens to Angelo Dawkins. They're getting into the mold, though, of New Day and really Waller and Theory, where if they don't split them, if they're going to split them, they're going to have to not speed it up a little bit, because they get stale as a team, and sometimes teams do get stale. Profits have been around, they've been champions, they've done a lot of stuff together. And I'm not a fan of splitting up tag teams. I'm not really, but if it makes sense, and when they split up Sean and Marty way back in the 80s and 90s, sorry, Sean was their star, and a lot of people actually thought Marty Jannetty was going to be the breakout star, and they got it wrong back in those days. And it was Sean that ended up doing everything, and Marty wasn't. Marty had his problems, as we know, but when they do tease. If they do tease their profits splitting up, they're going to have, I think they need to do it pretty soon. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit too late. And Waller and Theory just need to maybe not even split, just go their separate ways or something. It's just, I don't think they're going to care about it now with those two. But Ciampa was not happy that the machine guns, that the Profits were the number one contenders. Well, we'll find out next week what happens. Well, we won't be reviewing it next week, but we'll find out. I'll obviously be away on holiday, but I'll have a look at SmackDown next week for sure. Now, now, the announcement that we've been waiting for so long on this channel. We have been advocating for it. SmackDown has now got the Women's United States Championship. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. It is happening. Nick Aldis announced it. It's going to have to be earned, though, which, yeah, brilliant. More women on our TV. Great stuff. More women's wrestling on television. Brilliant. Loving it. Looking forward to it. Finally, SmackDown gets those secondary women's titles. So we're assuming it follows suit on Raw with the women's Intercontinental title. Hallelujah. Thank you, WWE. Thank you, Triple H, for giving us what we wanted. The women will now get a chance to showcase themselves with another title on there to have. It's been needed for so, so long, and it's finally been given. And I'm looking forward to seeing it happen. I'm looking forward to crowning the first champion. It now, at least, the Selena Vegas of this world, the people that are, the Candice LeRae's, even, all the hard workers. Not to say they're not hard workers in the main event, but there's something now for people to grasp on. And it's so good to see on the women's division. It's been needed for so long. And the fact that it's happening now is great. And we'll get a United States women's champion on SmackDown crowned very, very soon, which is great. And again, I'm assuming Raw is going to follow suit with the Intercontinental title. So great times, great times. Brilliant to see. We're going to get this. Now, the main segment on SmackDown, the ending segment was the undisputed tribal chief acknowledgement ceremony, where Solo Sikoa wants Roman Reigns to acknowledge him, and Roman asked the crowd, should he acknowledge him? They said no. And Reigns said, neither does he. And he's here to challenge Solo. A one-on-one match for the undisputed tribal chief. Solo responds by laughing. So he doesn't have to. Solo tells Roman to find 4 people to team with him so that they can go to war, which means war games. Yes, that's where we're going, folks. War games at Survivor Series. He says he only sees 4 people in the bloodline. Sikoa says it's his bloodline plus Sami Zayn. He said it wasn't an accident. Sami Zayn kicked Roman Reigns. Sami Zayn at this point walks out on the stage. The bloodline attacks Roman Reigns as Sami Zayn was walking into the ring. Jimmy and Jay run down to make the save at one point as well. But as he holds Roman up for the spike, he yells at Sami Zayn to finish Roman Reigns. And Sami Zayn comes into the ring and Helluva kicks Solo, Sikoa, the OG bloodline clear the ring. And SmackDown holds the end of the show with the OG bloodline putting the ones to the sky. It was a great segment. They actually, I felt as if Sammy was going to turn. I really did. I thought he was going to join that bloodline, but yet again, the blood, it is brilliant. I thought he was gonna, because I said it at Crown Jewel that he looks like he was all in black, and there was this sort of heel vibe about him. And as much as people expected him to join Roman, maybe, you know, they could have done it where he did join Solo and then joined Roman's team, cost his team the match or something at War Games. Because if you remember, it was him kind of initiating himself into the bloodline at the War Games the other year when he kicked Kevin Owens' head off. So yeah, lots of stuff there, but what a great ending. SmackDown overall, great show. The opening and closing segments set the stage for War Games. Roman Reigns hasn't learned a thing and is really repeating the same mistakes. It's going to be fun to watch him as a babyface and seeing how that transpires. The short brawl between Owens and Randy Orton was it's one of the most compelling segments of 2024. And Owens is really one of the most hated men on SmackDown now after hospitalizing Randy Orton with a power driver. That move hasn't been seen in WWE since CM Punk on Raw over a decade ago when he took on John Cena, and I think now, not that it should wait another 10 years, but when they say the word less is more, case in point, right there. Wrestlers get dropped on their heads and flip up all the time in this, and it's really good to see it meaningful in the WWE. Love that segment. Love it, love it, love it. You know what? We add that to the Women's United States Championship and the ending of SmackDown. Really, really good show. Really enjoyed it this week on SmackDown is back. That's what I feel on this one. But guys, seriously, follow the show, Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. We got a lot of stuff dropping this week. Gideon Gray, PJ Black, the former Justin Gabriel, will be dropping next week, as will the Gideon Gray interview. We'll have a couple more review shows before the review shows take a break for a week. That is going to be happening as of Wednesday this week, and it will recommence for the following Thursday. We'll do some catch-ups and everything will be back to normal by then. But just still keep it locked on HTT Buckle on Twitter, HTT Buckle on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast on Instagram. Shows will be dropping throughout the time that I'm away as well. But we're back tomorrow with AEW. That'll be back tomorrow. Myself, Gary Joe, breaking down all things AEW. So look forward to that. But until then, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.